So hi everyone, thank you for joining today. My name is Ramjan, medical doctor here in Berlin Charité. Nice to meet everyone. So far we have registered 45 participants from more than 10 countries. Among them we have PhDs. I believe they will join later in a couple of minutes, but let's use this time. And today moderator is Mukhit Magambetov joining from Hong Kong. Really appreciate it. It's very late there. It's almost 10 p.m. So Mukhit, thanks for joining. And before starting, just guys, can you turn on your camera if it's possible? Just say hi, where are you joining? You can write in the chat box so we will not know each other, just a couple minutes. Or you can write down near your name. Yeah, for example, Ramjan, Berlin, Germany, or so we will know each other. I think it will be just good for starting. I think most of people joining from Kazakhstan, we have from Hong Kong, we have from Germany, and we have from Sweden. Yeah, very diverse background. So thanks guys for joining. Thank you very much for joining today. So we have another session of Guest of Honor Seminar Series with Dauren Adilbay. I think everyone know about Dauren, very experienced, long journey of medical doctorship. Later, Mukhit will introduce Dauren. So before starting, I will pass to Mukhit. Mukhit, you can start and later pass it to me. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone again. As always, very happy to join these sessions, especially this is the Guest of Honor Seminar Series. I guess one of the most important for all of us. We can learn many things from our guests. And today we are hosting double doctor, medical and PhD doctor, Dauren Adilbay. He's an assistant professor for the head and neck surgeon in the Medical University of South Carolina in the United States. Person who worked a lot, achieved a lot to gain his current position and achievements. But before I will continue the introduction of today's guest, I want to switch back to Ramjan, the Vice President and the founder of Qazaq International Science and Technology Association. This is something information, brief introduction of our association. I know that it is something that maybe you've already seen, but sometimes we have new guests and new people joining us, and especially guests of honor to give more information who we are. And it's always something new happening, and there will be new slides sometimes. Thank you. Ramjan, you can take the mic now.
Thanks, Mukhit. So if for some of you that already know all this information, we will give some updates. You can just grab a coffee or tea and just enjoy a couple minutes. And for newcomers, just briefly introduction about our association. So Qazaq International Science and Technology Association, we are a global professional Qazaq scientific community with more than 170 members, including PhD, postdoc, and professors. United from 2014, very dynamic community, welcoming community from more than 30 plus countries. And here you can see our map. That mainly we located in Europe, United States, Canada, also Japan, Korea, China, and also a few fellows from Australia and New Zealand. I think it's very diverse. Africa, next one will be Africa and South America. And as you can see on the back side, I apologize. Here we have distribution map. Let me switch it back. Here we go. So this is the global membership distribution. As I said, mainly from Europe, United States, Japan, and among them career stage distribution, 28 established scholars as Dauren here, professors, senior researchers, 31 postdoctoral researchers, 62 doctoral researchers, and other we have industry experts. And this led by very talented board members, including our president, Serk Meirmanov, is the vice president of Russia Asia Pacific University. Unfortunately, he cannot join today, but he is sending warm greetings from Japan. And we have Qanashir Ghalif from former Vice Minister of Science and Higher Education, currently working in Nazarbayev University. Janara Rangbaeva, Vice Chair of Research, working in Narcos University, and Financial Director Elmira Abdauletovna. We also have global ambassadors from every country. We have representatives, so Northern Europe, United Kingdom, Canada, Hong Kong, Japan, and China. So if you are locating in these places, please contact them. You can network locally and also join our community. So overall, in our association, what we're trying to do is to use this, invite talented scholars, Kazakh scholars working around the globe, and try to mentor our new generation of scientists in order to have these future scientific leaders. So I think it's very important to have this community. And for also, as you can see from here, this is 100 Kazakh scientists that established scholars that working in different countries, UK, Canada, Japan. And as today we have Dauren Adilbay, pretty much same level. So we're trying to invite these professionals, especially for you guys, very young PhD postdocs, in order to share their experience, and maybe there's some opportunities that will help you to in your career perspective. And in our association, we organize Guest of Honor seminar series. So we invite academics from their field. They share about their journey, various academical system, discuss challenges, turning points. And as you can see, previous is from Oregon State University, Shuhrat Mutalipov, Dana Mbaeva from King's College London, and other fellows. And next one, we have Guests of Honor Tech Talk series. We invite professionals that transitioned from academia to industry or launched their own startups. We've been very fortunate to invite Ilyas Tribulaev from Stanford University, teaching about how scientists can think beyond the lab and applying this venture mindset into research, entrepreneur, and leadership. I think it's a very helpful session. Also, we organize panel discussions on a variety of topics, inviting 3 to 4 professionals. So previously, last year, when there's a disaster happening in Kazakhstan, we thought it's our responsibility to also invite international and local specialists in order to give some strategies. And that was, I think it was very helpful for doing. And last one, we have fellowship and grant supports. So we regularly trying to invite representative from international academic institutions and funding bodies. So we had securing a session with Aliya and Abjapar about securing research grant in Kazakhstan and abroad. We also invited Takeda Science Foundation in order to share fellowship opportunities for medical doctors in Japan. So report activities over 10 years, we've been organizing 40 plus events with attendance of more than 1,000. And we helped 9 members to securing PhD scholarship and fellowship opportunities. And currently ongoing this interview with established Kazakh scholar, we have 32 interviews so far. So here on the right side, you may know these professions like Aliya, Asil, and other professors as well. So this is the first part. So as I said, we're trying to help our foreign experts, foreign young scientists by inviting very experienced scientists, but we're also trying to help Kazakhstani scientists support as you know, in our association, we have few members. Is a member of National Council of Science and Technology in Akhurda. This is Murat Ağa, Janibek Ağa, Serg Ağa from Japan. And we pretty much in touch what's happening in Kazakhstan and try to contribute as we can. So every year we invite a minister in order to give some updates, maybe some opportunities with our audience. This last month we had one, and currently we involving in this assisting Bolashak in order to find potential host labs. So of Kazakhstani professors. So far, we had 3 laboratories. We performed more than 10 interviews. One of the UCL Department of Chemistry, whereas Yerbulat is working as a postdoc. Second one, Chinese Academy of Science. And recently, last week, we had another with University of Nottingham. So overall, we're trying to help Kazakhstani scientists to find potential labs that willing to host them. So if you're interested, if you are a PhD postdoc, you can discuss with your PI, and there's additional hands that can be helpful in your lab. And not only online, we're also trying to organize offline events. So last month, we have this summer retreat in Bavarian Alps, where PhDs, postdocs, and professors joined us. So every year, trying to organize it, and have this discussion session about science. So if you're interested, stay in touch. Definitely next year we will have another one. So for upcoming events, so far on the left side, we launched a new Kazakhstan University Transformation Series. I think nowadays a lot of universities having a lot of changes inside, and so we started with Narkoz University, where President of Narkoz University, Qanat Khojakhmetov, will share about opportunities, collaboration opportunities with foreign Kazakhstani scientists. So if you're interested, definitely join August 23. Next month, on September 6th, from Silicon Valley, we have Set Abdualiyev. I think most of you know him, founder and CEO of Silk Road Innovation Hub, where he helped Central Asian startup founders to get in a new league, premier league of startup accelerator in Silicon Valley. So he will share, as our association focus also on artificial intelligence. So we're trying to invite professionals also from this field. And on September 20, we have from Israel, we have Ainur working in industry as an organic chemical engineer in Merck Life Science. Definitely, she will share a lot of insights from industry and working in Israel as a scientist. So if you're interested, please mark these dates and join us. And if you want to become a member, definitely you need to reach to us, fill out this form. And once you fill it, you're in our database and you will get all these updates of upcoming events. And last one, we're looking for sponsors. If you know someone that's willing to support, because currently we on a self-funding status, and it will be great to thank somehow our speakers that contributing their time, coming here, sharing some insights. So if you know anyone, please recommend. So with that, I am passing to Mukhit. Mukhit will introduce today's speaker. Thank you very much. Apologize for taking so much time.
It's all good, John. Thank you for the introduction and the updates of the association. As always, I keep thanking you for bringing all of us together and then expanding this network of Kazakhstani scientists in one place. And it is really good for us to be connected with our people. So, okay, let's go back to our guest today. So Professor Adilbay's journey is very long. And I have a whole paragraph introducing him, but I will try to make it short without any further ado. After the education in Kazakhstan, also Professor Adilbay had education in Italy, France, US, Russia, and he was building his own research lab now in surgical practice in Charleston in South Carolina. He recently completed an intensive fellowship in head and neck surgery with microvascular reconstruction and performed more than 500 surgeries within 2 years or even less than 2 years. He specializes in complex head and neck conditions, including thyroid and oral cancers, robotic surgery, and facial recognition. He also leads the research on fluorescence imaging for tumor and the nerve visualization, including one of the first diagnostic compounds of the smell disorders. Professor Adilbay has held a leadership role in global surgical societies, one of which is the Asia Pacific Thyroid Surgery Society, and is committed to advancing care through both surgery and the research. I guess these are the two main keywords to this guest. And the other things that I missed or mispronounced, I'm apologizing, and I'm sure the guest will introduce himself more and correct me if I was wrong in some cases. Thank you. Professor Adilbay, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Mohit, for this kind introduction, and I'm honored to be here today. I did prepare slides because I actually reviewed your previous videos and I saw that everyone does that. Like I was like, okay, it seems like I need to keep up with this tradition. Yeah, and it's a great initiative actually, trying to bring all of us together. Um, Let me share my screen. Yeah, I'm sorry for this messy. I keep everything open until I finish it.
I think it is like a common thing for all of us. The anxiety, you never close until it's finished.
And some of them were opened like 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Oh, yes, that's a great part with MacBook. You don't have to restart it, and it's just like you can keep. I don't know. I don't really even remember when I last time restarted it, so it just opened. Okay, so I'll talk about myself a little bit, and as I understood, the important part was like who were the people, who were the mentors, who kind of uh, guided you towards this path, and had a profound influence in your career. So I will include them one by one within this one within those slides. And my high school, I graduated from FISMAT in 1999. I can say that I was like brilliant student. I was a mediocre one, but I think it seems like it was a good school still. So I included it. By the end of it, I didn't um, went to physical or math kind of university. I was really planning to do med school. My family was a physician family, and it was the plan from the beginning, really. I had some doubts initially, of course, because it seems like it was the only path I knew, and was it for me or not? It was, but like getting into the med school kind of really flipped me, and I realized that it is what I really wanted to do. Because I'm from the mediocre students in FISMAT, I became one of the like leading students in med school. I was like straight A student. I loved everything. I loved seeing bones, experiments, anatomy, like everything related to it. And I think that's the first time I realized that I'm studying because I'm gonna make some change. I'm gonna help people. I think like before in the high school, I wasn't really sure why I'm even doing it. But like in med school, I think I finally had a purpose, and that's why it flipped me, and I became a good student. I think that was like the main thing with me. And then after internship was embedded in the med school, it's very different in every country. But like I graduated in 2005. From 2005 to 2006. It was internship. From 2006 to 2007. It was some sort of like residency in ENT slash head and neck and surgery. And after I went to a meeting that was in Russian and Napa where I met this guy, Dr. Soma, and his mentor, Dr. Lubayev. We're both head and neck surgeons, and I like realized, yes, I want to go and learn from them. So I submitted my Bolashak application, and I went to Moscow to Russian Academy. It's the RONS, it's Russian Cancer Center. Blokhin Russian Cancer Center was under the Russian Medical Sciences Academy. It's a huge hospital, 1,000-bed cancer hospital. So I did 2 years there in the head, doing similar thing like ENT slash head and neck surgery, residency type of thing. And what amazed me in so the biggest obstacle I encountered there, Dr. Lubayev was diagnosed with cancer, and he left the department, which the chair department where I was like planning to go to work with him. Unfortunately, that happened, but happily, Dr. Soma stayed behind. He was like his mentee, and he became my lifetime mentor and very good friend from that time and onwards. He was very well connected with everyone throughout the world, probably because he was organizing a lot of events in post-Soviet states, teaching and bringing the prominent people from throughout the world to our post-Soviet states. And also, really delivering a message that post-Soviet science wasn't a trash science as well. It was pretty advanced science and was a lot of clinical trials that were here. They weren't available and known to the rest of the world, but they were here, and they were like a lot of them were pretty decent quality, and some of them were ahead of Western European countries, which, for example, induction chemotherapy for head and neck cancers weren't a thing during those times, but it was one of the main treatment modalities in post-Soviet states. Then when the borders opened, we went back and followed the US guidelines, but then now US and European guidelines coming back to neoadjuvant chemotherapy and organ preservation strategies. So it's like, it's hard to say, but like, yes, I think opening borders and realizing that they are more advanced, it's not probably was the best strategy of going forward, but it is what it is. It's what happened in those years. So then after my residency, I went to and worked in Almaty Oncology Center for almost 3 years. I was the only head and neck surgeon there, so it was very helpful for me to establish as a surgeon. I started doing everything. It was like first independent career, but working more and more, gaining experience, I really wanted to become a full head and neck surgeon. And for that, you required a lot of instruments. You need CO2 lasers, you need robotic instruments, you need microscope to do free flaps. And then I was advocating a lot for that. And then I don't think that in the funding capability of Almaty Oncology Center, I actually have some influence in creating this logo, really. And it wasn't in the probably funding interest and also in the capability at all of the Almaty Oncology Center. So the new oncology dispensary or cancer center, again, we call it, was opened in Astana, and they were, and I'm not sure if they bought it intentionally, but like, you know how these things happens. They just bought everything together, and no one was using all the equipment that they had. They had all the endoscopic equipment for sinus surgery. They had microscopes. They had like everything for head and neck, really. So I went there. The director, like chief medical officer of this hospital, was really supportive. He helped create a department. So we created a department. We hired people. So you see in this corner, this is my newly opened department. I'm pretty young, like 3 years independent work. And this is the people I hired, Darkhan Ahmedian, Denise. And then we hired even more people after that, Ayjana Mandosova. And these are nurses that worked in the department. So I worked there as well, almost 3 years. We started on a high note. We like treated almost 400 patients the first year, and then it was like gradually growing. And there was a lot of things happening, and life is life. And I wasn't really happy how life was playing out. Sorry, I'm trying to put this away and still see you guys. Yes, I mean, life is life. So I really wasn't happy the way it was there. We didn't like a lot of our procedures wasn't covered by government. So all the microsurgery we do, all the surgeries we do were like very minimal, how you call DRGs in English, Qazaq. So I really wanted to change it. I was applying for different, like trying to expand Qazaq, but that wasn't possible from there. So my next logical step was trying to go to our central institution and then maybe trying to move things forward from there. So I went to Kazakh Institute of Oncology and Radiology, and after working a year there, I became deputy director for science, and we tried to push those things to bring at least DRG group, separate DRG group for free flaps, because free flaps were like whole day surgeries, 10 to 12 hours, and we did them. We started doing them. We did plenty of them in Astana, and we actually invited Indian person, surgeon. Oh, I should have brought his picture as well. Dr. Subramania Iyer, he's one of my mentors in microsurgery. he came to the Astana. He did 5 surgeries at the same time with us, like the whole week from Monday to Friday. He did 1 microsurgery every day. It's usually very tough. No one does that normally, but he wanted to teach us so that we can launch it there, and we did like every day 1 microsurgery. So you imagine how like tough was it. And then one of the microsurgeries we had to take back because the vein thrombed. So like that night we took another one, and then next morning we took another picture. Oh my God, it was so bad. So yes, we launched it, we started doing it, but like no director of any cancer hospital would want those surgeries to happen because they weren't covered. It was always just like a reputational thing, but not financial viable thing. So we tried pushing that. There was like a lot of politics, a lot of ministries changes. Birtanov was at some point helpful, but then he left, and then I've worked as a deputy director almost 3 years. The good thing we did, I think, we pushed that clinical trials law that synchronized ICH GCP rules with Kazakhstani legislation, and Kara Davletov was actually in that group of people who were like working on that piece of legislation. I think that's a good thing we passed. And if anyone worked with government, they know how hard to pass a law and everything. So I think that's a good thing we did while I working there. But like then I realized this is not gonna work, and I wanna leave the country and work somewhere else. And I already had almost like like more than 10 years of experience in Kazakhstan. And I started actively looking while I was doing that. South Kazakhstan Medical Academy, they said they reached out through my dad actually, that said they're opening a big hospital with very like 1,000-bed hospital with cancer center, with everything, with like a big major plans. And I was like, yeah, let's give it a try. Maybe I don't have to leave the country. No one really wants to leave the country. Like, it's not the best decision for any one of us. But like, yeah, so I wanted to give it a try. I went there. We started developing plan. It was like amazing experience. But then I realized that this group, that their main income was coming from an oil, and then oil prices went down. They had a lot of different projects at the same time that they were organizing. Turkmenistan, I think, was the first project. They were like building a lot of hospitals, or not hospitals, hotel here. And they were like doing other priorities. And I realized that this hospital will be there at some point, but it will take another multiple years before something is going to happen. So we turned back to looking for something outside of Kazakhstan. And that's where I contacted multiple people I knew. So Dr. Shah is, Professor Shah is like one of the most famous head and neck surgeon, responded. Oh my God, I think I'm super slow, right? One of this, Dr. Shah is one of the most famous worldwide head and neck surgeons, responded. He said, yes, we do have a position here because this guy, Dr. Reiner, is developing nerve fluorescent imaging agents in his lab. And he had plenty of basic scientists, but not any surgeon that would really understand how to use that, how to test that, and those kind of in line. So I interviewed with him. I interviewed the Dr. Patel, who was like his clinical person who was working there. We're working together. So I was hired jointly by Dr. Patel and Dr. Reiner at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and this was their main research building, where I spent 2.5 years doing research in nerve fluorescence and smell fluorescence and fluorescence of tumor PARP IFL fluorescence. It's fluorescence to help guide surgeons to identify tumors and do a margin-free resection. So like everything really fluorescence-wise, and it's a relatively new field called diagnostics, where you use some sort of drug that you attach fluorescence, or you can attach radiopharmaceutical, then it's PET tracer, or you attach therapeutic tracer, then it's like radiopharmaceutical treatment. So this all whole new field was called diagnostics. I mean, it's still called, so it's therapy and diagnostics at the same time. So it's like a weird term. So then after 2.5 years, like after year one, I actually realized that, the COVID hit, the lab closed for a little bit, and I realized, yeah, I'll probably want to stay in US. So I started studying for my USMLEs. I passed during those 2.5 years. I did my USMLEs, and in 2.5 years of match, I started looking for head and neck fellowships because I realized that to stay here, I needed to do some clinical training. Otherwise, institution will not hire you if they know you like have zero experience in US. So I found actually they both, and then the other surgeons I know introduced me with Dr. Sherry and Nathan. She was at that point president of AHNS, American Head and Neck Society, and the chair of department at LSU Health Shreveport. She's super famous, but I with her, and she was interviewing several other candidates, international candidates at the same time, and then happily they chose me, and I worked 2 years there as a fellow. It was a great experience. She's R1 funded researcher as well. She has a lab. She has a lab in this building. The main hospital is here. They built a new one here. This is the clinics. So was like a full-fledged department chair, clinician researcher, full lab, huge lab with like 10 people working in her lab. So it was like a very great example. She was the president of HNS, past president of American Academy of Otolaryngology, like huge society. So she had like a profound influence on me as well. In 2 years, I really just covered her ORs. So she was early morning coming in and said, "Are you good?" And like, "Yes, I'm good. Like, please call me when you're done." And then when I'm done, I'm calling her like, "Everything went well." She can come say, "Oh, everything went well," and then go away again with her things. So I really just like almost did all her surgeries, and which helped me a lot as well. And actually, coming from Kazakhstan, I needed that experience. I don't think I would be able to work straight from Kazakhstan. It's a lot of different things, a lot of different instruments that are available here that are not available in Kazakhstan. So you have dozens and hundreds of different things that helps you that we don't have back in Kazakhstan, which confuses you a lot if you don't know them. Like dozens of sutures, dozens of different type of tweaks and minor instruments that we are like, okay, we can use this for like a lot of things, but they have like different instruments for everything. They have like 10 different types of skin substitute, like a porcine from fish, and they all have names, they all have sizes. The needles, if you say the suture, you have to say that, for example, Vicryl 3.0 and the type of needle, SH5. Never was a thing in Kazakhstan. You just say, "Give me anything," and they will give you something. so it was a very helpful experience. Without it, I don't think I could have worked as an assistant professor now. So I'm very glad I did this 2 years. And after that, I was actively looking for a job, and the best position I found, I was luckily interviewing in like 4 or 5 places, which not same every year. Even US people sometimes can't find a job. So every year you have fixed amount of fellowship graduates and fixed amount of open positions. Sometimes graduates are more than positions, sometimes positions are more than graduates. I was super lucky that year, the positions were more than graduates. So I was interviewing at 5 different spots, and this was the best hospital. It's very highly reputable ENT department. It was 23 last year. It was on 14th in US before a year. It was the best position was Number 9, it's in first 10 all the time of residency, ENT residency programs. It's always in the first 10 in NIH research funding of the ENT departments nationwide. So it's like very reputable department. What happened before joining me 3 years ago, the whole head and neck surgery team left this hospital due to some internal disagreements. So the MUSC was gathering literally a new head and neck surgery team. They hired another very great leader, Jason Newman, who came from UPenn. So he was gathering a new team, and I was like one of the new hires. And luckily, they had special NIH funding that they had for a new hire, so the physician could have 40% of protected research time and 60% clinical. Everywhere else I was interviewing, they had very high volume clinical load. So they said, you probably won't have time to do research, but we'll give you some help. We'll try to give you some research fellows. We will try to accommodate your research needs, but you will be very busy clinically. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's great to have any job, but like this job was like probably a dream job compared to others. So this is my research team. This is Bhaskar. He's a chemist from India. He did his PhD in China and then postdoc in Switzerland. So I really needed chemists. I really like hiring any of them. I was trying to find someone from Kazakhstan. I tell you, and I interviewed a lot of people from Kazakhstan. I really needed a chemist, but like it was COVID years, and a lot of chemists I interviewed from Azerbaijan said, "Oh, we worked from home. We were like planning things." They never did hands-on training because of that. Unfortunately, they couldn't find anyone. But I'm pretty happy with my team now. He's very capable chemist. She's MD PhD student. Ellie's very capable as well. She did her after graduation. She did 2 years at NIH neurology lab, which is like with very famous PI. She did organoids. She grew different tumors from pituitary tumors. She did like very like almost PhD level MD PhD student. So I'm super happy having her. This is Jay. He's a student. He's not a hiree. He's just like spending a year with us. But we hired another person, Stepan. He's MD, but we hired him as a research associate, like lab tech, literally. So he's helping that. So I'm really happy with him because he's despite being lab tech, he's really functioning as a full-fledged postdoc. So I feel like I almost have like 3 postdocs for not the same salary. But yeah, so I'm super happy with my team now. And I don't want to spend a lot of time, but like these are projects I was doing at MSK, nerve imaging of spell, and then another project I'm working on is imaging of oral pre-malignant lesions. So that's how we learn nerves and veins, but like that's how we see in real life. So you don't see really nerves. There's like shades of grays. That's why the idea was to bring lights to nerve. So that's how we see nerves with our compound. So this compound is derived from spider venom. So we checked it for toxicity, which we conjugated different fluorescent dyes, and then we started checking them on animal models. This is sciatic nerve from mice, and this is nerve, how you see it fluoresce, and this is same nerve here, and this is a live animal. Just like under general anesthesia, you see it's breathing, and this green light is the bladder because it's excreted from the bladder. Then we checked that this target is available on human nerves. We just used a lot of cadavers, like 3 male and 3 female cadavers, to dissect all the nerves to check that. Then we did on non-human primates, we did thyroidectomy, and this is recurrent laryngeal nerve that was important for us because you have to preserve it. And here the experiments that we did, you see the recurrent laryngeal nerve bright. We're not super happy because there's like a lot of background fluorescence really. And then in 30 minutes, you lose that that of a great signal. So it's still a lot of things to do, to tweak, to try different ways, to inject more, to inject less, to observe more, a lot of things. But these experiments are super expensive. And my mentor who was working with, he was recruited to a very high position in big pharma companies. So he left. So I don't think this projects will ever going forward. But one of my priorities is to restart this things, like at least in my lab now, with a different compound that targeting same target. And then was completely my project because my wife doesn't have smell, and I really wanted to try to use the same compound because it has the same etiology, sodium channels that we're targeting for nerve fluorescence. And this is sodium channels in AV1 pits. And with this olfactory sensor neurons, this is cystenticular cells that protects neurons. These are neurons, and this is bundles, nerve bundles. So they all express a lot of sodium channel. So that's what we really needed. And then we showed that we can image them in olfactory neurons in mice. This is after blocking, and this is after PBS. So, and then we damaged this olfactory epithelium, and then we saw that olfactory epithelium after ablation have less fluorescence. So like we did like different experiments as well. We did like behavioral experiments. We hit the cookie, and if the mice, so you see here, if the mice have normal smell, they found cookie very fast within first 30 seconds, and they have brightest fluorescence. If they have bad smell, this group, they find it eventually, but it takes a lot of time for them to find, and they have low fluorescence. So this like additionally proved that our like fluorescent compound was working pretty well. Then we did same thing on non-human primate tissues from that nerve experiment. The olfactory epithelium, you see very bright fluorescence compared to the surrounding tissues. And then the idea is to hopefully spray or inject this compound in the nasal cavity. And then if you see bright fluorescence, patient have smell issues or don't have like a proper smell. And then if you don't, they probably have some smell issues. And this was like a lot of teams we worked with. I started in a Reiner's lab, then he was recruited to as I said, to a pharma, then I switched to Pilar City lab, then I left. And these were like all the mentors I worked with. And this is my lab now, and we're working on our oral pre-malignant lesion fluorescence project. So how it works now, you have this lesion, you don't know how to treat, you just randomly biopsy. They give you dysplasia grade, which like high-grade dysplasia is a high risk of malignant transformation, then you treat. But like really, we don't know when we need to treat. We don't know how aggressive we need to treat because like they compared, there was like randomized trial. They compared just observation and surgery, and then both groups developed 2 cancers. So, so we really don't know how to treat these patients, and with the current technology. So the idea is to develop fluorescent biomarker, so we can see if there's a fluorescence coming bright from specific spot, then it's probably aggressive oral lesion. If not, then it's less aggressive. So same technology. We're trying to. We found 5 markers that of high risk of malignant transformation, MET, NOTCH1, and PDL, conjugated them with fluorescent dyes. And this is the confirmation of conjugation on SDS page. And then we tried on cell lines, how they're working. This is on flow cytometry on different cell lines. We started working on animals. We injected like 2 tumors on both lengths with different expression levels. So they're like, we're still working on this. Now we're also trying multispectral. We are trying adding all 3 together in different type of cells with different expressions of those antigens, and you see it correlates really. If the patient have low notch, then it has low fluorescence as well. So it really corresponds to the intensity of fluorescence corresponds to their expression. So we're like pretty happy with this, how it's going. Yeah, I hope I wasn't too long.
Well, again, thank you for all of this hard work. I mean, yeah, I didn't want to interrupt during your speech, but I just wanted to say you have all the time because, again, someone like you she talk all the time because it is so inspiring for us. So many work has been done. And unfortunately, you had to jump from project to project in the last few minutes. But I'm sure people, if they have any questions, any specific questions, they will raise it here. But if they don't, I also want to go back to your career path and also thank you for your contribution to Kazakhstan. You spent several years not in one city, in multiple cities, and you gave all of yourself. And as you said, it's really hard to leave your country. You don't make this decision just you want to leave. You give like a one chance, another chance. You just hope for the next something bigger happens, something that you might really like that. So I really understand that, and I just wanted to thank you, and also on behalf of Kazakhstan International Science and Technology Association, I also thank that you are also announced that you might want to help through Bolashak Fellowship, and if anyone qualified in future, maybe they'll be great to join your team at least for a temporary basis, so that they can learn from you and then import the technology to the country. So I have couple questions here, and then I think Ayman was asking, so I'll just directly cite it. Dr. Adilbay, thank you very much for your for the talk. My question is regarding state license before starting clinical fellowship. Could you please share your experience on how did you obtain one? Was it hard to get it, and how long does it take?
Oh, it's
So they,
so you have to understand that it's different from state to state. And it's different from institution to institution, how they work around it. So not every institution will take international graduate for fellowship, because the fellowship is like something that goes after residency, and you have to be independent. So they have to believe that you can function independently. The people that spoke with Dr. Nathan on my behalf told them, yeah, he's independent. He used to work back home for 10 years. He can function independently. It's like you can trust him, right? So there's need someone who can tell your person that hiring you that. And then after that, it's the technical things. They usually find a way how to license you. In Shreveport, first year, I was licensed as a trainee license, so they can get you a trainee license. Many institutions can get you academic license, educational. The problem with trainee license, you cannot take calls, independent calls, like backup calls after residence. So some of the fellowships don't like that because they don't want to take call. So if you don't take call, then your attending will take call in. So they don't want to take that call, so they sometimes don't like that. So they prefer you to have a full license. So many states will give you a full license if you have some experience from back home. Like US, if you have, so for US, you need to have 3 years of education in US, but they said like in a smaller subscript down there somewhere buried in their bylaws, if you did twice more back home, it will count it as like 2 years back home to 1 in US. So I submitted all documents and I got full New York State license. So no one really knows that, and they make a lot of noise when then Illinois created a little bit like a path towards international, but like a lot of states already have those paths. You just have to go and read their bylaws and then contact directly to the people and then cite those bylaws. Say like, oh, this is based on your bylaws. You have that, and they usually admit that. So it's not advertised, but you just need to go and read. Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think we have Dimash here raising his hand. Dimash, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for this great presentation, for describing your experience. I've got two questions actually. The first one, as we are from Kazakhstan, so what was your visa status in every step you had, and what it is now? And the second one, how do you think, what are the characteristics of us, like post-Soviet country representatives, IMGs, yes, that are like something special for US medical doctors or PIs?
You mean the difference between our our doctors in Kazakhstan, or can you repeat the last one? I understood the first one.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, do we have something special in us, something that make us different?
Yeah, I
Это,
mean,
наверное,
yeah,
Dauren, когда на резидентуру вот более такие центральноазиатские, вот советские страны, да,
yeah,
постсоветские, есть ли какая-то
да, понял.
резидентура? Пример, да, вот так.
Yes. Да, и first question was about, sorry, I'm blanking.
About visa
It was
in
the
your
visas,
MSc.
yes.
Visa. Oh, yes. So when you do postdoc, it's J visa, and your spouse J2 visa can work, which is great. And it's really like research scholar, I think it's called visa. And after I decided to stay in US, I submitted my application for a green card. From the J visa, you cannot submit your application right away because J visa intents is to return to your home country. But the idea is to explain that, like, oh, I'm spending a year here. I decided that, oh, I changed my mind. I want to stay. So you cannot change my mind from the first month you move to US. So that's another caveat with J visa. You have to be in US at least a year before changing your mind, because it makes sense. You can change your mind. And then otherwise, when you're applying for J visa, you're saying my intent is to return. So that's another like caveat. But like, yes, you can apply for a green card after spending some sort of like time in US. That's what I did. I did EB2 national interest waiver visa and got it in 2 years, I think. It's not visa, it's like a EB2 green card. And patients like Asians because they think they're hardworking. In US, probably Chinese, like Japanese people have that like created that aura for us as well. We're just within the same group. But I don't know. They don't know a lot about Central Asia. They like most of them don't know completely. They know zero. So you just present yourself like a normal person, and they just need some recommendation letter from people they know from US would be the great, at least a little bit. And they want recommendation letters from people who knows you a lot, like your mentor from Kazakhstan. So they need several letters to know. So they don't want to risk. So they definitely had some international residents that was bad, that didn't know stuff, worked bad, had a bad work ethics. So they really want to be safe. They try to play safe. So they believe US graduates have a better been better in that, but it's not true as well. There's like I see a lot of US graduates that are not great, but it's hard to convince them. So yeah, that's going to be your job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I think Galanjan has a hand raised.
Я, Dauren, благодарю. У меня здесь Валихан до
Спасибо.
меня что-то спросил. Валихан, прошу прощения, что да, вступил перед вами. Так быстрый такой вопрос. Dauren, замечательная презентация. Я думаю, вы один из примеров людей, кто прошел вот этот путь, очень тернистый, очень долгий. Сейчас вижу очень много ребят, кто в США тоже стараются пройти резидентуру и дальше. Да, у меня мой такой вопрос, когда вы проходили вашу fellowship Memorial Slow Catholic в Нью-Йорке, вот как вот эти 2,5 года повлияли на вас? Я как понял из презентации тоже, вы очень много взяли идей, и то, что вы сейчас в лаборатории тоже стараетесь, это как-то пересекается, да? И как вот этот полностью тренинг как врача, и после врачебной практики уже пройти полную систематическую лабораторию. Я смотрел, очень много публикаций в то время сделали, и очень много работы. Как это все повлияло на вас? Как вы сейчас сформировались, Ахмед?
Да, но вот когда Я всегда хотел быть в research. Если честно, даже когда
А,
я поступал в мединститут в Асфендиярова, второй был вариант поступить на биологию в КЗМУ. Ой, не КЗМУ, Казгу. И это были 99-й год, и родители сказали, ученые бедные,
м,
они на барахолку пошли, куда ты собрался? Поэтому я пошел в мединститут. То есть я всегда хотелось этим
м,
заниматься, и поэтому я был очень счастлив этой возможности.
м,
Моя кандидатская, да, или PhD, мы ее здесь называем, потому что для них кандидатская непонятно, была частично в Basic Research тоже HPV prevalence и еще химиолучевая терапия, внутриартериальная химиолучевая терапия мы делали пациентов, и clinical trial at the same time тоже. Поэтому мне было это интересно еще тогда, но просто не было возможности этим особенно заниматься. Мы выигрывали 2 гранта,
м,
2-3 даже гранта от МОНа, ПЦФ подавали много. Ну вот многие, я не знаю, из вас, наверное, тоже знают эти вещи. То есть у нас было какое-то финансирование всегда еще в Институте онкологии. Мы секвенатор купили, MySec,
м,
денег не было, но мы грантовские деньги договорились с компанией, сказали, можно мы реагентов купим на миллионов сколько-то, а вы нам
м,
бесплатно аппарат дайте, и они нам бесплатно аппарат дали. То есть мы так
м,
обходили системы, чтобы получить то, что нужно было в Казахстане. Ну, всегда пытаешься сделать, что у тебя
м,
сейчас есть.
м,
Но когда в США, ты все вообще, там вообще все есть. То
м,
есть, наверное, проблема в США другая. В Казахстане ты ищешь возможности, в Америке ты выбираешь, какую тебе преследовать цель. Потому что невозможно все взять.
м.
Это, наверное, была самая сложная вещь в Америке, когда я приехал. Я хочу и то, и то, и туда пойти. И каждый день у них лекции, и все. И ты потом в какой-то момент перегораешь и думаешь, что я делаю со своей жизнью. Да, да, ну, поэтому там много у меня публикаций вышло тоже, потому что я пытался и то, и то делать одновременно, еще кисому не гадается.
М,
Я пипеток толком не держал до этого.
м,
Как работает система Basic Science в Америке? Ты всегда на этаже найдешь человека, который умеет что-то делать. Например, тебе надо
м,
ПЦР сделать, кто-то на этаже умеет делать ПЦР.
м,
Ты пойдешь к нему, он делает ПЦР, ты ему пощадываешь пару дней, а потом скажешь, можно я за тебя сделаю эксперимент, то есть сделаешь, а потом пойдешь свой эксперимент делать. И так можно любой технике научиться, потому что приходят химики, которые только химию знают, биологии не знают, они учатся биологическим экспериментам. Приходят биологи, которые химию не знают, это была химическая лаборатория, где вот этот... Они учатся, наоборот, все чему-то учатся
м,
в этих basic science лабораториях.
м,
Ну, я учился и тому, да, и химии немножко, и биологии немножко учился. Зато они не знали вообще, как применять эти вещи
м,
в медицине. Для них это вообще темный лес, они что-то делают и не знают, как это может
м,
быть применимо. И это была мое лепта, да,
м,
в эту общую работу. И даже планирование экспериментов на животных, они не совсем понимали, как их планировать, потому что они не совсем понимали, как мы будем использовать эти вещи в нашей практике. То есть это
м. Рахмет, Даурен. Олихан, пожалуйста.
Okay, yeah, there are two questions. One from user and the other is Abwali Khan. So the first question is, hi Dauren, as a specialist in a very narrow medical field such as ENT or head and neck surgery, how can one find opportunities to join respected research teams and build a successful academic career? What is the best way to make networking?
Probably networking is the best thing you can do. Just try to people know you, interact with them, and make them your friends, make them to trust you, and then they will hire you. Otherwise, it's very hard. It's like it cannot be done in 1 year. You cannot just sit in one place, send 100 emails, and expect to find a job. Especially for us, maybe like someone from not medical background, from PhD background may have that opportunity, but like MD with minimal basic science experience, it will gonna be hard to do that. I mean, it's always an option, but like probably networking works for everything. So everyone I knew, even from basic science, they met people whom they hired on one of the conferences. They, if they're interested with someone PI's talk, they go there, they ask questions, they say they talk about their ideas. using their like research, and then they hire them. So probably networking is the most important thing.
Yeah, and then the question from Wali Khan, Dauren, have you encountered with researchers that cover combining surgical therapy with light therapy, like a photodynamic therapy, for example, or chemotherapy correlation with biomarkers or receptors?
Yeah, that's what we do. And actually China is pretty good at that. They do a lot of those type of research, but like we also try to use the same target that we were talking about, fluorescent imaging, to use as photodynamic therapy as well, to use as hyperthermal therapy, and then antibody drug conjugates is a new thing now. So there's like a lot of things in this same area of research that you can pursue.
And I have two questions. It's regarding your US career as a researcher also. So for example, how does it work? I know that every physician, they will have to work for their publication, but first of all, they have to work for their grant. Do you get the assistant professorship position first and then start applying for grants, or you have to already get some funding first and then that will grant you assistant professor position? So maybe the university budget will cover initial studies and then you'll have some time to apply for that.
Yeah, all of it works. Yeah. So you can have funding, it's great, then you're not looking for a job, they will looking for you. They will be like, please come to me, please come to my hospital, please come, because you have money, and they will be super happy. It's usually K grant, K99 grant. If you get K99 grant, it starts from educational part, like then R0 grant. So it's like almost 7 years of money. So they're super happy to find you, to give you a job. And then the other option is you don't have a grant. You just the institution will give you grants for 3 to 5 years. So you establish your lab, and then they expect you to get a large extramural grant from NIH usually, or foundations. I mean, NIH is being hard these days, but like But NIH is the only grant that gives a lot of money to institution. So if you want $1 million with NIH, institution will get, depending what institution, $500,000 or $1 million too. It's called indirect. That's Trump administration is fighting with. So some institutions get 120 indirect. So in Stanford, if you get $1 million, NIH pays to institution 1,200,000. I mean, those 10 will it seems like they want to cap and reduce all of them to 50%, I think now. So now if you want $1 million from NIH will give to institution $500,000. So institutions love getting those monies. So that's why if you don't get them, they will be not happy.
Yeah. And I'm sure you are planning for your next step of your career ladder, and maybe you have already kind of plan for the next maybe career advancement. So is this an associate professor, and what are the minimum requirements to become associate professor, like a number of papers or grants you win?
Yeah, so it starts from instructor. I kind of skipped assistant professor job directly, but like normally if you're like coming from not academic background, without PhD, without like research experience, you start from an instructor, then you move to assistant, then you move to associate, then you move to full professor. I started from assistant professor, and I started as the tenure track position. So tenure track is another thing. You can go to a clinical non-tenure track, then it's clinical track, then you will never become it doesn't work up. You'll have to become a tenure first, then you have to become assistant. It's like very complicated system. But if you don't want to be like academic, you don't need even that tenure. But the great thing of tenure, when you're a full professor, institution almost can't fire you. You're almost have secure job position for the rest of your life. It's very hard to fire a professor in US if you're like full professor. So there's like a lot of benefits. So to become from assistant to associate, you need one extramural grant, several papers. You need to, I mean, it usually happens on its own. It's not that hard really. you need to have several or trainees. You need to present at the big academic, like at the big conferences, and you anyway present if you're doing research. There's like a criteria. So I actually working on them now, trying to because in 3 years I can promote myself to associate. So I'm working on it right now, because if you don't build it now, you won't be able to build it like, oh, I need 3 years passed, I need to do it now. So yeah, so you build your CV, you include all your talks, all your education, all your papers, all your like everything, and you just submit it as a packet to university administration, and then they decide if they promote you or not.
Okay, thank you, Professor Adilbay. Do we have time for one more question here? Bakhtiar wants to ask.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your interesting presentation and your career story. And I have two very fast questions. First of all, what steps do you think are most important for foreign doctors and researchers who want to apply for a PhD program in the United States and who want to build an academic career in American system? And second one, what kind of skills or project are most valued in candidates, for example, from Kazakhstan, for Central Asia region?
For a research position or for residency? So these are like two different.
Research position, right?
It depends what the lab you're going. So you really need to understand where you're going, and then depending on what that lab does, if you do everything that lab does, they will be happy to hire you.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's like a genetic lab, they would want you to be able like to do PCRs, NGS, maybe those what the stat analysis they do for their like genetic data from NGS. Like if you do one of those things, they'd be happy to hire. And if you have the papers in that field, they will be like super happy. So you have to really align with your skills to the lab where you're going. I wasn't experiencing those things, but they were looking for a specific surgeon that does surgeries that needs nerve exposure, which was me. Like I might do parotids, I do toroids. Like where do you need to expose facial nerve? You need to recurrent laryngeal nerve. And I had research publication and I had PhD. So those kind of things aligned. So what they want to see that you have experience writing papers, because it's like a completely different experience. So they wanted to see that I have experience writing paper, that I do the surgeries that they are interested in, and I have some sort of like research background.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining and for all of your questions and your activities. I think we are finally wrapping up this session. And I guess I also personally thank you, Professor Adilbay. I hope we will keep in touch. And then the last speech I will deliver to Galamjan.
Yeah, Dauren, really appreciate your time. I think it's very valuable to mentor our PhD postdoc community through this kind of very experienced person as you. So we will continue this session, guest of honor, and we will save this recording. If someone else want to rewatch this session, please go ahead. So Dauren, thank you for your time again. Thanks for joining from Charleston. Wish you all the best. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye, everyone.